Yeah, you're in episode 28 of the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast from Off the Ball Towers here in Dublin. My name is Jamie Moore and we're now joined in studio by the man responsible for knocking Shamrock Rovers out of the FAI Cup 2 weeks ago. It's Chris Lyons, striker from Drogheda United. Chris, hello, how are you?
Alright, Jamie, how are you?
Great, thanks Chris, thanks for coming in. Chris, of course, former UCD, Bowes, Shamrock Rovers, Bray twice, Sligo, Shells and now Drogheda, and he's getting ready for another giant killing of Waterford, he hopes, this coming weekend. That game is at United Park at 7:45 on Friday, a game I can't wait to be at. He also works as a postman and gets up very, very early in the morning, so he'll be telling us about that in a few minutes' time as well. Chris, firstly, bring me back to 2 Fridays ago with that 1-0 win over Shamrock Rovers and your penalty in the 23rd minute to win it.
Yeah, no, it was a great night for Drogheda, the club, the team, the players. We went out there with no pressure. We started very well. I don't think Rovers gave us the respect that they should have, and we went out, we played good football, and then we got the penalty and we got the Grace got sent off, so it was a good start for us. Took the penalty, scored it thankfully, and then we defended very well for a good part of the game, but we could have scored more as well in the end, but it was a good result for us, you know.
Talk me through the award of the penalty. Lee Grace is sent off, you know you're the penalty taker, and you've got a little bit of time between it being awarded and it being taken, because it was in the goal at the far end and it's a long walk for Lee Grace to have to walk to get out of the pitch. So you're there, the Rovers fans are near you, you're thinking, I've got a chance here to put us 1-0 up against Rovers in the Cup. What are you thinking in that time?
To be honest, it was a long way, but I wasn't too nervous. I started the game quite well. My touch was done well. I got a good few free kicks first, but I just was nice and calm, and then took the penalty and the keeper went early and just went the opposite side. That's all really. I was nice and calm, to be honest, and I thought I would have scored, so it was a good thing in the end. It went in, you know.
Yeah, there was an interesting thing actually on Sky Sports recently talking about, you know, the penalty takers. I think it was Harry Kane and where he puts all of his penalties, and they were all in quite similar places in the goal. For you, do you always put it in the same spot? Do you wait for the keeper? You know, does your coach give you some information on where the keeper might go, or what's the actual technique of, you know, to make sure you score?
No, to be honest with you, on the Thursday before Rovers, I was practicing my penalties after training, because I knew Shani Brennan wasn't playing. He's normally the penalty taker, so practiced both sides, and just the way it fell, I kind of looked at the keeper and I seen him go early and just went the opposite side he went, so thankfully it went in the end, you know.
Yeah, I think, you know, from your point of view as well, to score such an important goal at such a time in the game, it just gave yourself something to protect, and in the end you were able to protect it. But when you can score goals like that, particularly in moments when they've had a man sent off, it's a key moment in the game. If you'd have missed that, the momentum swings back their way, you score, all of a sudden it gives you something to protect, and in the end it turned out to be the winner.
Yeah, exactly. It could have went the opposite way. If I had missed it, it could have gave us a kick, but no, we done well. We played well in the first half, and the second half we could have nicked another goal or two, but they sort of were on top, but we defended very well, and we see the game out till the end. So it was a great night for the club and a great night for the players, and everyone was buzzing after it, to be honest. So. Yeah,
what's the mood like in the change room at Drogheda at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, having beaten Shamrock Rovers? They're small dressing rooms, lots of people.
Yeah, it was a good night, good atmosphere in there, to be honest with you. The music was hopping, everyone was buzzing, so it was great. It was great. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's different then going to Cabinteely on the next Friday and then drawing, so there's different atmospheres in dressing rooms. So no, it was great atmosphere that night, but Friday against Cabinteely wouldn't have been the best atmosphere after again, to be honest with you, Jay.
Yeah, we'll talk about the recent matches against Cabinteely as well and Galway in a couple of minutes time. Just staying on the team of Shamrock Rovers now, every time like a smaller team beats a bigger team, everybody always talks about, oh, Shamrock Rovers are out, and that's the headlines the next morning. Shamrock Rovers are out, not Drogheda are through. Is that something that annoys you, that your team has, you know, earned the right to be in the next round? You've knocked out Shamrock Rovers, but all the headlines are about them being out, not you guys being through, or is that only natural?
It's only natural. It's in any big games around, but no, we got a good bit of credit and fairness, like in the papers and whatnot. So like we deserved to win that day, and some of the papers gave us a bit of credit, some of us didn't. So no, it's just normal, really, to be honest with you, Jay.
And then you hear the draw for the next round, and you're drawn at home again against another team in the Premier League, one place in the league ahead of Shamrock Rovers in Waterford. It's on this Friday, as I mentioned, at 7:45. You could have got a non-league team, you could have got maybe a first division team or a lower team in the Premier, but you've been drawn against a decent team in Waterford. What was your thoughts on the draw?
To be honest, we were just happy with a home draw, and that was the truth. There was some like long distance travelling to games, so we got the home draw, and then we got Waterford, the great team, doing very well this year. So I know everyone was happy. Why not play a big team? You know, why not stir an upset? But we'll see what happens on Friday. You know,
it being at home, is that a massive plus? Obviously, you mentioned there, are some long trips, and had it been in Waterford, they're getting fantastic crowds. You would hope the people of Drogheda will come out to support you this weekend with the new stadium news and having beaten Shamrock Rovers in the hunt for the playoffs as well in the First Division. But just it being at home in your place, and the memories of the Rovers game only, a couple of weeks old as well.
Yeah, no, it's nice to be playing at home in any game, to be honest. We've done well at home this year, so it's nice for it to be at home. But we're just going out, going to enjoy the game. We're going to have a go at them, see how it goes, and that's basically it,
Yeah, I know from speaking to your manager Tim Clancy recently, before the Rovers game, he was saying it's a free hit in terms of if we lose the game, no one's expecting us to win. This will be the same. That has to be a nice way to go into a match, because recently in the First Division and all season there's been no free hits because they're such important games, whereas for this, he's probably right in what he's saying. Yeah,
no, 100%. It's a free hit for us. It's more pressure on them to come and beat us, like Rovers had to try come beat us, they didn't. So it's a free hit for us. We'll go out and enjoy it. Hopefully there'll be a big crowd there from Drogheda and Waterford, and hopefully we can get the result, but we'll just see how it goes,
Yeah, the one good thing about the FAI Cup is that you win a couple of games, you're into the quarter-finals. There's only 32 teams that start out in the competition, so it's the 20 League of Ireland clubs plus the 12 non-league clubs that make it through. So you win 2 games, you're 2 games from the Aviva, so it's a very quick run in the cup if you can win those couple of games.
Yeah, no, it is very quick if you win them. That's the thing. So we're just going to see how we go Friday, and then take each game as it comes. So I don't know. Hopefully it goes well for us, but we'll see on Friday.
Yeah, and it's an interesting time because you said you've played Shamrock Rovers in the cup a couple of weeks ago, and in around that time you've dropped points in the league. A 2-2 against Cabinteely, you were 2-0 down, came back to draw the match. Also 2-2 in Galway, where Kieran Kelly came on to score an equaliser late on in the game, 2-0 down again. So interesting that you've beaten Rovers, yet you've dropped points against teams in the First Division you would have hoped to.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing, to be honest with you. The league is really the most important for us at the moment, trying to stay in that playoff places. So against Cabinteely, it was a bad night last Friday. We didn't play. We started well, but they scored 2 goals quick, and we kind of had to try get back into it. It was tough, but we ended up getting the draw in the end, but it felt like a lose, to be honest with you. But the most important games for us really are the leagues, so we're going to enjoy the cup games while we're still in it. So the big one is the league now, to be honest, to try to stay in that playoffs, because it's so tight, as you said,
Yeah, it's such an interesting race to the playoffs, which we'll mention in a minute as well. When you've gone from the Rovers buzz to away to Cabinteely, that's a different match. It 100% is. You're against a different quality of opposition. I know you play in United Park, which isn't the most fantastic League of Ireland stadium, but there's still a great crowd there, and it's your home game. You go to Stradbrook, crowds are quite small. Pitch has been okay recently, given the rugby is finished, but is there a different level of mentality in your own head? You said that Shamrock Rovers underestimated you guys when you played them. Is it hard then to get yourself up again for playing away to like a Cabinteely the following week?
No, it's not hard, but it's a totally different atmosphere. Like all week the manager was telling us how different it's going to be, and it shouldn't be our mentality, to be honest. We should be able to get up for any game, but we didn't. We started well, but we conceded 2 goals very quick after each other, so we shouldn't have to our mentality shouldn't have to be to get up for the game, but we didn't play that great, to be honest with you. It's a different atmosphere. Just everything was different, it was a hard night for us, to be honest with you. It's hard to take as well.
You're 25?
25, yeah.
So you're quite experienced in League of Ireland terms, and I mentioned the number of clubs which who you've played for. Started at UCD, having moved there from Belvedere, played for Bowl, Shamrock Rovers, Bray twice, Sligo, Shells, and now Drogheda. It's an interesting mix in the Drogheda squad in terms of some experienced players and some younger ones. What do you see your role as at Drogheda United?
I know I'm only 25 and I'm saying I'm experienced player. It's a bit strange, but there's a great group. There's a great mix between the sort of older players, the younger players. Myself was kind of in the middle, that's been around. But no, it's good. Like the sort of older players are very good. Sean Brennan, Paul Skinner, are great lads around the younger players. Tim's excellent with the younger players as well as the manager. But I just try to help. I wouldn't be a massive talker, but when I mean what I'm going to say, So I try to help the younger lads more than get on their case. But it's a good dressing room. There wouldn't be too much fighting. It's a lot of positivity, and it's a really great group, to be honest with you.
You seem happy to be there.
Yeah, happy as I've been playing football like since my Belvedere days, to be honest with you. I'm playing 90 minutes every week, scoring goals, enjoying it, you know, winning big games like last week. Even the league, like it's so tight, it's enjoyable, you know. I know we're not placed into the playoffs yet, but like we're still in around there. And at the start of the season, you would have took that, you would have said, with 3 games left, you're still in around there. So hopefully we get into the playoffs and then see from then as well. But no, it's been a great year for myself, for the team. It's just been really enjoyable, you know, so really happy, you know, to be Jamie.
In terms of your role on the pitch, you know, I remember when you were announced as a Drogheda player, I thought, really good signing. I'm not saying that because you're sitting here, I'm saying that because I think you were a really good signing. You've scored goals. Even the way the pitch in United Park is, it's quite tight. You know, a player like you that likes to be near the box, it suits you because you've not got as much ground to cover, and your teammates don't have as much ground to cover to get you the ball near the box, and that's proved to be the case. But your role actually in the team, you know, has helped Drogheda to get to where you are, and has helped you, as you said, rediscover love for being in the team every week.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's my role is a lot of the play is tried to play through me. You probably know me as a player, Jamie. Into my feet is one of my strong points, holding the ball up. For a small lad, I can hold the ball up, but a lot of it's played through me, which makes you feel wanted and you're enjoying your football, like you're playing well. So no, it's my role is just to play well every week. There's no pressure on me to score goals. Tim hasn't put pressure on me. He just wants me to be playing well, me to be linking the play, me to be causing havoc to the centre half. So that's what I've been doing, and every game I've kind of enjoyed, and there hasn't been much dull nights this season for me, thankfully. Like on Friday was probably the worst for me so far this year, you know, how I felt after the game. The whole weekend was ruined. But now I'm loving football and looking forward to Friday. I can't wait to get on the pitch, to be honest.
The games in the First Division, and I love it so much that bar Wexford and Athlone, and you know, those teams have picked up in terms of maybe not results, but picked up in making games tighter recently. But the other 8 teams, at least the other 6 or 7 teams going for the playoffs, the games are so 50-50 for me. And I've been to the First Division the last 4 weekends in a row because I've not seen enough of it all year, because I hate the way the games clash. But anyway, but just playing in those matches where you're playing a Longford or you're playing a Shells or you're playing UCD even, and you're going, this is a 50-50 game, if we play better than them, we're going to win. Enjoyable to be involved in, stressful to be involved in. What's the thoughts? Because I'm sure when you're playing them, and if you lose when you're going, jeez, we should have won that game. But when you win one, it's like, what an achievement. Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. As I said, the First Division this year has been unbelievable. So tight each game. Like as you said, playing against the likes of Shells, Longford, Galway, even the Coves, they're so tough. Like, you know. But it's been great. Like every game's like a cup final to us. You know. You win it, it's great. We haven't lost too many, but when you draw them, they're kind of little hiccups. But it's gone well all year, you know. So we're still in around the playoffs, as I said. So it's just to kind of stay in there, and then you never know when the playoffs. So you know what I mean? It's like a cup final each game there. So no, it's great. It's been great. You're on episode 28 of the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast with myself, Jamie Moore, in studio with the Drogheda striker Chris Lyons. And Chris has mentioned a couple of times there the Drogheda manager Tim Clancy, a great friend of the podcast. He's been in studio once and on the phone a couple of times as well. And I sent Tim a WhatsApp just to find out if there's any little bits of nuggets of info on Chris that I could embarrass him with. And Tim replied to say, now, Jamie, I can't be stitching up my main man up front, so no pressure, Chris, but you're the main man up front. Make sure he's looked after. I need him for Friday. I might actually tune in for a listen this week. So thanks, Tim, for being our number 1 fan. And your manager hasn't given me any gossip on you. Maybe there is no gossip for him to give, but he's called you his main man up front, and I know you've loved playing for him on a serious note. He's a young manager, his first job. He's got Kevin Doherty and Dave Robertson with him. Kevin is assistant, Dave Robertson is director of football, the former Sligo manager, among others as well. Talk to me about Tim the Gaffer. No, Tim's been great all year, to be honest. As I said, he hasn't put pressure on me. When we met up in November, we had a good chat, and he just wanted me to come and join me football, play the way he wanted to play, and it's gone well for 2 of us, you know. So no, he's been great. He's great. Like, he manages the players great. He's on the out of the league himself, so he knows what way players are thinking. So it's nice that the manager's not just coming in and screaming off the cuff. Like, you listen to what he says, you know. He's been very good, to be honest with you. Yeah, now myself and Tim did a charity cycle recently in Bray, in your hometown, for the Suicide or Survive charity, and It was very tough, and Tim, as a former pro, recently retired, found it tougher than I thought he would, right? I don't think he's been keeping himself in the great nick that he was in as a player. Does he ever put the boots on and in training? If there's an odd number in the small side of games, would he jump in at centre-back? And if so, do you fancy your chances playing against him in training, the gaffer against the main man up front?
Yeah, he does put the boots on every now and then. Not all the time, but he does, and he still has a bit of quality, in fairness to him. Wish I didn't say that, but he does have a bit of quality. But now he's a good player, and when he trains, like, he gives it all as well. Like, he doesn't shy out of a tackle even when he's the manager, you know. It's good when he plays, you know.
I can see the headlines this week. Drogheda striker Chris Lyons ruled out of cup game after being injured by Tim Clancy.
Yeah, hopefully not anyway, touch wood.
But just on a serious note with him, and we mentioned the clubs, and you've played under a lot of managers, some newer, more modern managers, some more old school, old style managers. But for a player to have, a manager like Tim, who is young, he's inexperienced, he'll admit that himself, it's his first job, he's learning as he's going, but he's doing a great job so far. What's that like to know that if you need to pull him or talk to him or anything, that he's recently stopped playing and he was in your boots just last year, for example?
No, it's great. It's easy, it's no pressure. If something's on your mind, you'll say it to him, He's kind of great with all the younger lads, which he talked to everyone. So it's a great mix. Nobody's afraid to talk to their manager, or he doesn't not talk to players if they're not playing. So it's kind of a good atmosphere in the dressing room. There's no players are sulking. Everyone seems to be happy, and no players that are playing, players that aren't playing. He has the group going well, and he has a good atmosphere in there. So I kind of find that's the main thing to have, because if the dressing room, there's a bad atmosphere in the dressing room, it's hard, It's just hard. There's groups, but everyone's together in the group. So we're just going to keep going now to the end of the season and try push for the playoffs and see how that goes, Jay. Yeah, 3 league games left. Home to Longford. You also play UCD on Friday week, and away to Cove on the final day of the season as well. 2 points out of Longford. It's so tight in the first division. Chris, finally, the clubs you played for over the years, you've been jumping from club to club to club, and I'm sure every Christmas you weren't sure where you were going to be going into January. As a young person who's also working but dependent on a football career as well, what's that period like when you finish your season in October, November time, and you're waiting for calls, you're meeting managers, you're not sure where you want to go and why you want to go there? It's not a great, if you haven't played the year before, it's not great. You don't really know what way you're going to end up, so it's kind of hard. It can kind of ruin some people's Christmas because they're a bit stressed over it. But this year now, I've had a good season, so I'm kind of looking forward to it now. I'm not kind of stressed about it too much, but it's a hard time for players, that sort of period. But you just have to kind of, for myself last year, I wasn't too happy, so I just kind of trained, and hopefully something came up for me. So I've took my chance and I've enjoyed the year. I love football again, to be honest with you. You
can demand a 10 grand a week pay rise from Tim Clancy if he tries to keep you.
I wish.
Chris, speaking of Christmas, finally, if you live in Chris's local area and your post happens to not arrive, you can blame him. Tell us where you deliver the post.
I don't have my own route yet, so I can't tell you that, Jay.
Do you work in the sorting office?
No, I work in the office, but okay. I just kind of do whatever duties need to be done,
So are you sometimes out on the bike, or?
Most of the time, yeah.
Ever attacked by a dog or anything?
Plenty of times I've been attacked by a dog, but just give them a boot, I'm good at that.
Give me a story. You're a postman, you're a professional footballer, you're going in to deliver the post and there's a Rottweiler after you. Tell me, seriously, that must be a bit scary.
Just find the biggest wall and try to jump over it, Jay. That's what I do anyway. And just get away as quick as I can, It's not a good time when a dog comes running at you, but it is what it is.
And are there probably certain houses on the route where you go, I'm not going in there, I'm going to throw their post in the bin because their dog might bite me?
I know, there's plenty of houses which you don't want to go in, but I haven't been to too many that I can't go in, I haven't been that unlucky yet. And
do on-posts give you training to avoid vicious dogs, or is it something that you're told about?
No, if there's a big dog there, don't go near. But you have big working boots on, so you can just give them a boot if you need it, Chris Lyons, great stuff. Thanks a million for coming in. Best of luck on Friday in the FAI Cup. We speak to you soon. Thanks a million. No problem. Thanks, Jamie. Cheers.